Hi, Jack.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Hello to everyone who has tuned in. I'm Annalie with Broadway in Chicago, and I'm so excited to be chatting with Jack Cahill-Lemme from Moulin Rouge, the musical today. If you have any questions for Jack, go ahead and put them in the comments below, and we'll get to as many as possible. But in the meantime, first of all, how are you doing? How is rehearsal so far for you?
I'm good. We're coming to the end of tech here. We have our first preview on Saturday. I think we're more than ready. They've fine-tuned the show so well. They have kind of such a good formula from Broadway and Australia and London that they really have us on the right track. So it's very exciting to be a part of it.
Oh, so awesome. Well, I want to kick us off with some rapid fire questions to get to know you a bit. And then I have a few questions just to get to know you a little bit more and the show as well. And then we'll have a special guest join us at the end to end our time, just so you know.
Special guest. Okay.
But first of all, what is your ultimate comfort food?
My ultimate comfort food. Okay, I always say my desert island food is, not to be that Chicago person, but Lou Malnati's deep dish cheese. If it was either bringing a person on a desert island or a food, it would be the Lou Malnati's. Every time.
Every time. There we go. What is your current favorite album/artist you're listening to these days?
Oh, that's a good one. I like the old stuff. I would say the artist that I'm listening to most right now is probably Joni Mitchell, that Blue album from 1971. A little dated, but it's great. I think that kind of sound is very similar to Broadway in a way of its storytelling, and that's kind of my focus right now, that kind of music.
Absolutely. Do you have a favorite TV show these days that you're watching?
I'm going to say it, RuPaul's Drag Race. It's probably it's probably my favorite drama. I just started The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried, and that is like, oh my God, incredible. You could watch that in one sitting. It's fantastic.
And then, so you are from the Chicago area, correct? You're from the suburbs?
I am, yes, the suburbs. I'm from Park Ridge, but we say Chicago. But it's the first northwest suburb out there. So kind of Chicago.
Basically Chicago, for sure. What is your favorite place to bring non-Chicagoans to when people come visit?
Great question. I always say that Chicago is great for having like a touristy spot. So like when you go to other cities like Boston, like I'm not sure like what you would see right off the bat, but with Chicago, you go straight to the Bean, you ice skate at Millennium Park, and then you take in a show at Broadway in Chicago. Like the Loop is very quintessential Chicago, and it's very eye-catching, and it's the most beautiful city ever. I love it.
That's awesome. And then to round us off, what was the first show that you were ever in? It does not have to be professional.
Okay. First show I was ever in was No No Nanette. I played boy number 4. And that was, they're still talking about it. That was at Edge of the Wood Theater in Chicago, which is this training program for young performers. And that's pretty much where I learned everything I know. I saw a production there of Grease when I was a kid, and I think at intermission I ran up and signed up for my first ever acting class because I was so enthralled. So yeah, No No Nanette, the 1925 musical.
Awesome. All right, so starting at the very beginning, what really sparked your love for acting? Was that your role as boy number 4, or did it come later on that you realized that, hey, I really want to do acting for the rest of my life?
It was kind of that. It was kind of growing up in that environment. The theater was like in like a church basement, but you felt like you were on Broadway. Like, and they took it so seriously. Like it was these 2 professional actresses who ran the theater, and they were very old school, and they like, you know, use your upstage hand, and they were very intense about it. But that passion was very inspiring, and it was magnetic, and I kind of inherited it, and I found my love of theater through there.
Absolutely. And now you're here today. You're part of the Moulin Rouge, the musical tour. What made you say yes to this role and the show in general?
Oh my gosh, who wouldn't say yes? I've been a fan of the movie forever, since I was a kid. And I remember when the Broadway album came out, I listened to it and I was like blown away. Justin Levine, who is our music man, he did the orchestrations, and he kind of reconceptualized the music of Moulin Rouge while keeping a lot of songs from the movie, but also, you know, it's a different medium, so it's very much a musical now, and it's just such a spectacle, and it's so kind of engrossing. When you walk into the theater, there's like a giant elephant and a windmill, and there's sword swallowers, and that's all before the curtain even goes up. So it's very, and none of that is at the expense of truth and great storytelling and like really this beautiful story of a kind of a love triangle. And it's very passionate, and it's that rare musical where act 2 is just as exciting as act 1, and you're constantly like, oh my gosh, like what are they going to do next? So that's what really excited me about it, and I'm just so thrilled to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So you are a swing in the show. For those who aren't as familiar, what does a swing mean? What are your roles?
Okay, yeah. So a traditional swing would be a member of the company who covers the dancer ensemble tracks, and they could cover like 10 of them. I only cover 2 of the dancer tracks, but I am mainly the offstage principal covers for Christian and the Duke. So I'm kind of half swing, half standby understudy, which that means is that if our leading man is out for whatever reason, if he's on vacation or if he's not feeling well, I will be on for him. And then if things that moves people around, if some of our ensemble has to go play a principal, then I'll cover the ensemble. So I kind of just pop in where they need me.
That seems like a lot to remember. How was it like learning all those different tracks, especially those principal roles where there's a lot to remember?
Yeah, so in the past when I've understudied, they don't give you a lot of rehearsal time. It's kind of just like, you better know it. But with Moulin Rouge, this company has been amazing about working the understudies through the show again and again and again, and just running it and drilling it, which is so rare. And like to take that time is like so sweet of them to do that. So we're constantly, our off-cast covers are constantly running the show and learning it and getting direction. And, you know, we kind of learned with what happened in December with Broadway, with how, with Omicron, the variant, how like essential understudies and swings are to keep the show going. So I think that's definitely a part of it too, to make sure that everyone feels comfortable going on.
Absolutely. Can you give us a little bit of insight of how the show may or may not differ from the Broadway production?
Oh, from the Broadway production. It's pretty similar to the Broadway production. I think that they've been really great about letting people find their own characters. You know, it's not a factory. They've definitely given people artistic license, and no one is copying, you know, Aaron Tveit or anything like that. Everyone has their own take on these characters, and it's really cool to watch. It is the same show, but it feels so original and so authentic because everyone has been allowed to do like what they instinctually want to do with these roles. It's very cool.
Absolutely. Why should people come and see Moulin Rouge, the musical? Besides the fact that what we've been seeing on social media, just hints of the set, which, as you mentioned, are absolutely stunning. But besides that, why should people come and see the show?
I would say people should come and see the show because it's such a love letter to live theater. It's a love letter to entertainment. It's a love letter to pop music. And that's very special because we just went so long without it. You know what I mean? And so to come back and have a show like this that really reminds us why we do it. And it's a story that is about love. It's a story that's about, we say our 4 things are truth, beauty, freedom, and love. And you get all that. And then you also get the beautiful spectacle of the sets, the lights, and the gorgeous music.
That's incredible. I want to jump now. I'm going to bring on our special guest in just a moment. But you were our Illinois High School Musical Theater Award 2016 Best Actor.
I was.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that experience might have shaped where you are today?
Absolutely, yeah. So the High School Musical Theater Awards, that was in 2016. I was a senior in high school, and after winning that, we went to the Jimmy Awards, which is a very cool program in New York. It's a 10-day program where you work with like Broadway's best. And actually, Karen Olivo was one of our coaches who was in the original Moulin Rouge on Broadway. And kind of hearing from these people firsthand, these stars, about what working on Broadway is really kind of like, they made no bones about it. Like they told you exactly what it's like and like what the environment is. And they taught us all these choreography numbers, and you kind of like, we're on Broadway for like 10 days. Like that's how it felt. And then you, of course, at the end of it, got to perform at the Minskoff, which is where the Lion King runs. And yeah, you kind of was like my first taste of, you know, performing on a stage that size and working with professionals of that caliber.
That's incredible. Alrighty, I'm inviting our special guest to join now. Our special guest is the 2021 Best Actor, Marcus McGee.
Hi, Marcus.
Hello. Oh,
nice to meet you.
It's so nice to officially meet you, Jack. I have to get this out of the way beforehand.
Okay.
I watched, I saw the 2019 Illinois High School Musical Theater Awards, which kind of like kicked my love for IHSMTA, like really kicked it up in full gear. And I, like, end of my sophomore year and all of my junior year, I would watch your performance of how it ends, like all the time. Like I was a total stan, like total stan.
Oh my God, thank you.
I love you.
That means the world. I used to do the same thing when I was like going to compete for that. I would watch every year before me and like pretty much memorize everyone's performances. It's such a cool program.
It's so cool. And I right now my life kind of looks like after the awards, it's school and auditioning, and everyone that I love that is in the same position that I am at school, it's really easy for a lot of us to get discouraged when it doesn't feel like we're making any kind of stride. I feel like self-comparison is super easy to fall into at any point in one's career and life, but especially at this age, when so many people kind of take different paths out of high school, and that like leads them to certain places possibly sooner before other people could potentially reach the goal as well. And so I was wondering how you dealt with the exciting feelings of being young and being a performer and being able to act and to take so much of what other people teach you and like really, really take it personally and grow because of it. How do you deal with all the positives, but also the negatives of, I feel like sometimes admiration can kind of fall into self-comparison accidentally.
Oh yeah.
And so how did you deal with that going through your younger years?
Well, hopefully I'm still in my younger years.
Oh, yes.
I'm only 24. Don't age me. No, but I think that's such a great question. I think that you kind of have to run your own race. You know, you really have to have horse blinders on in terms of like, it doesn't matter that, you know, Ben Platt won the Tony at, you know, 4 years old or whatever it was. You have to kind of go on your own path and trust your own path. And this is like such a tough business because you are your own product and you hear 100 no's before you hear any yes. And it's easier said than done, but you kind of have to like, you know, be your own biggest fan and kind of like believe in the product that you're serving and trust that you can do it. And the timeline, nothing is linear. That's what I was always wrong about. I always thought it was linear. I thought because I didn't get X, Y, or Z job or didn't get into that school that I wasn't going to be, you know, successful or be, you know, on Broadway or whatever. But the truth is nothing connects. You can be, you know, not booking anything till you're 40 and then all of a sudden at 42 you're winning a Tony. Like there's no connection. It's just about whatever project you're right for in the moment. And sometimes your project comes along later and sometimes it comes along earlier. And yeah, I would say just keeping the horse blinders on and knowing that everyone goes at their own pace and whatever's meant for you will come when it's meant for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was so awesome. The meeting of two icons as so
I'm starstruck over here.
Starstruck. Feeling heavily reciprocated.
Oh, flattered.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you both for joining us. Jack, thank you for sharing your time and talents with us. We're so grateful. Everyone, go see Moulin Rouge, the musical. It starts this Saturday at the James M. Nederlander Theater. It goes until May 14th, so lots of time. Get your tickets. You won't want to miss it. BroadwayInChicago.com. Can't wait to see you all at the theater very soon. Jack, have a wonderful weekend. Marcus, you as well. And I'll talk to both of you soon.
You too. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.
You too.
You too.